Welcome to the Craft of Coaching podcast, where we dive into what it truly takes to become a skilled, confident life coach. I'm your host, Kate, head of the CLCC, or Certified Life Coach Collective, an ICF-Accredited Level 1 coach training program. We combine courage, coaching, and community to offer you more than just a training program, but a life-changing experience where you use your own personal transformation as the learning ground for supporting your clients. On this podcast, we explore how you can use coaching skills to support your clients or expand your own growth, all grounded in evidence-based coaching practices. Learn more about our program and get free resources for becoming a life coach at teamclcc.com. And now, here's today's episode. So there's something that I'm hearing more and more and more, and as a coach training provider, sometimes when people bring this to me, it's because they're not too happy about it, and it is the assertion that the coaching market is saturated with too many coaches. It's too crowded. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I have a couple of perspectives on this that I think are important, and I also think that there are things that are shifting in the algorithm landscape that are giving the perception of a crowded market, and it's skewing things in a way that people don't quite understand. And what I'm going to do first is talk about those perceptions and what we can do about them, and maybe it'll shift how you're thinking about this as well in a positive direction. And then I'm going to get into some of the things that you can do to differentiate yourself, because certainly the market is bigger than it was before. So a couple of perspectives that I have about this idea of the saturated market. I actually think that it feels like it's saturated because the algorithms have fundamentally changed just in the past 5 years. I'm recording this in very late 2025. This episode's going to go live in 2026. But just in the past 5 years, which is relatively recent, and if you've been coaching for 10 years, and certainly if you've been coaching since 2006 like I have, you've seen a lot of changes. But I would say in the past 5 years, the changes I've seen to social media algorithms are the most substantial changes ever. And how I have seen coaches react in their marketing to those changes is not necessarily the most helpful thing. So let me break it down for you a little bit. It used to be with social media algorithms that, first of all, you would just post something, and in a linear way, if you posted something at Tuesday at 8 a.m., everybody who was on whatever platform, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, Tuesday at 8 a.m. would see that post because that was the most recent post that was made. And it also used to be that if you really wanted to make sure you were reaching your right people, all you had to do was put in some hashtags. You would put in a hashtag like career coach, and then anybody who might be looking for a career coach would be more likely to be served your post. Those two things have fundamentally changed in the social media algorithms. Social media algorithms in late 2025, in 2026 as well, I believe, are mostly going based on the content that you're providing. And it is becoming more and more search engine optimized or SEO driven, which means that if you put hashtag career coaching because you're just hoping to find people who want to connect with career coaches, but your video talks about somatic awareness around making big decisions, the algorithm, first of all, is not really paying attention to hashtags anymore. You can thank the people who figured out how to game the system with hashtags, and then they front-loaded 50 hashtags into a post or however many. And, once people figured out that putting in a hashtag might mean that people grab you and pull you and say, yes, I want to work, it just was over. It got gamed by the system. So hashtags really aren't doing anything anymore. But just to use that example, if someone is using a hashtag like career coaching, but they're talking about a topic like somatic awareness, the algorithm is essentially going, where do I put this? Do I push this out to career coaching interested people, or do I push this out to the, let's regulate the emotions people? Now, the career coach who might have posted that video about somatic awareness when you're making a big decision probably did it thinking, Hey, if you're about to change careers, very stressful, I want to help you to be regulated while you make that decision. But if what you said in the reel, in the video, didn't talk specifically about career coaching and all the things that are surrounding career coaching, but you put that hashtag, again, the algorithm is just going, where do I categorize this? And in fact, the mentality you want to have always is, where do I categorize this? The next thing that has been going on is a term that is very sticky. It's by someone named Cory Doctorow, and it's called enshittification. Enshittification. And it's this. And if you have been around social media long enough, you know, because you've seen this. Maybe this will be the first time you're going, oh yeah, I've seen this. But it's very recognizable. New social media platform starts. It grows in popularity. And at first, everything is about the creators, the people who are putting out content. So you get great reach. It's easy to find followers. Your followers actually see what you put out there. Then they start tightening up the algorithms a little bit as advertising enters the chat because they've built something that's popular. People like it. Now we need to monetize it. So ads enter the chat. And very often creators go, hey, if I'm getting great organic reach without paying for it, let me just pay a little bit more and I'll get even better organic reach. And they do that. Well, then what happens is so many different people flood the market with their ads that now there's just only so much ad space that somebody can see in their feed, right? Because if you see too many ads, you essentially don't want to use that social media platform anymore. And then the pressure builds internally within that social media platform's organization to make sure that shareholders and all the people who want to make money are making money off of it. So then they start decreasing organic reach even more because now they've got all of these creators who have built substantial platforms on these spaces, and the creators don't want to have to start over with a new platform. So you're essentially entering a pay-to-play model. If you would like to make money off of this platform, you've got to pay to play. Now, let me come back to how this can contribute to the perception of a saturated market. First thing, the people who are paying to play, you're seeing their ads all the time. And as soon as you look at one, if you click on it, you hesitate over it, you read the caption, whatever, that sends a signal to that platform, Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever. Ooh, they like that. And so then they just start pumping more of those ads in your direction. And suddenly you as a coach who maybe clicked on one ad to learn about one coach are getting all these ads from coaches, and it becomes so hard to turn off your brain and go, oh my God, there's a million coaches out there and this one looks so confident and like they have it all together, and how am I ever going to make it through? Okay, so that's one thing that happens is you're seeing more ads than you used to see. And you're a coach and you're in the coaching space, so you're probably getting a lot more ads from coaches. The second thing that happens is that when people who can't pay to play look around, they go, okay, well, since I can't afford to put money behind ads, I'm going to have to work harder, which means I'm going to post more. So then they start posting instead of once or twice a day, 5 times a day. I'll post more often. And then that starts to make it seem like, especially like you probably are following other coaches on these different platforms. You're friends with them. And so you're seeing all of their content. I have a theory that it's not so much that coaching is saturating everything as the appearance of it saturating everything is happening because of these different factors. You might totally think that I'm wrong. We can agree to disagree. That is just my perspective as someone who's been doing this since 2006, which means I remember when you could basically just post one thing on Facebook and enroll a course in 3 days. That was an actual, let me tell you, kids, those were some good days. You could post once or twice and you'd have 20 people enrolled in your course within a week. It was amazing. And then Facebook got harder, and then people moved to Instagram. And at first, Instagram, it was like if you posted just a little bit, same thing. Everybody was following you. It was so easy. Your reach was amazing, all of that. And then TikTok, same thing, especially in 2020. I wish that I had been posting on TikTok back in 2020 because it was so easy to get a following and pull people together and all the things. And I didn't for various and sundry reasons, mostly having to do with my own self-consciousness about video as a format versus writing and podcasting as a format. So let me be a lesson to you that now I've just overridden that self-consciousness. I've worked through it, and I put out reels and TikToks and YouTube shorts every single day. But in 2020, it felt like, I'm a writer. I had this whole idea, I'm a writer. I don't do that. And so I didn't do it. And now I wish I had. So again, let me be a lesson unto you. I also just want to put out there that the organizations like Lyra, Ezra, BetterUp that hire coaches where, you don't have to market yourself or anything, they'll just hire you in. The fact that they are bringing on coaches, that there's organizational demand for coaching, especially because coaching has gone more and more mainstream. There's more and more research to show that it's effective. We don't have enough mental health support in this country. I have long said about coaching that my wish would be that the Board of Behavioral Sciences would partner with a large organization and work together to essentially deploy therapists to the clients who most need that kind of specialized support. And coaching could then be something that coaches could, have insurance reimburse them for sessions, and that would be considered a legitimate modality that is a parallel track to therapy and more appropriate for the people who don't need that additional specialized support that therapists are trained in. That would be my wish. Hasn't happened, but nonetheless, the demand is there. The market is not becoming saturated with coaches for no reason. People are finding clients. People found clients during the pandemic. People are finding clients now, even though there's an economic downturn. People are finding clients. And at the same time, yes, there are more coaches than there were before. If you look to some of the different articles that are out there about the projected growth of the industry, it's a very large industry. It continues to be projected to grow. If I have a theory at all about where it's projected to grow next the most, it's going to be learning coaching skills as part of work performance. Because most people who get promoted to become a manager don't even have any managerial training when they become promoted. They don't know how to coach employees. And I think them learning how to coach employees will happen by them receiving coaching on some level. And then I also think that more and more coaching skills are going to be seen as valued within organizations. They drive efficiency, they drive performance. The research is there. You can go look it up. Now, deep breath, because I am always putting myself into the shoes of a listener on this podcast. And I can imagine a listener who's sitting there right now going, okay, Kate, fine. Maybe that's what's going on. But can you just get to the part where you tell me what I can do? Because I want to coach people and I'm having a hard time finding clients. I put my heart into my coaching business. I share my story. I post. I offer value. I feel like I'm shouting into a void. How do I stand out in a market that's completely flooded? Well, let me reframe it for you just a little bit away from standing out and into actually connecting. So how do you build that real connection? These are the things that I will offer to you for consideration for today. First things first, you don't have to be the loudest or post the most. I really hope that you're not doing things like posting rage bait to try to get a conversation going. But you do need to be the most resonant. You got to tell the truth. You got to tell the truth about what you believe, about what you have lived, about what your coaching actually does. There's a way in which sometimes people sanitize themselves in the name of being quote unquote professional. And for sure, there's a certain client that will be very attracted to that. But my guess is that they're not hanging out on Instagram. My guess is that those you need to look professional moments to get that client to hire you, it's probably at a networking event where you're wearing a blazer. So if that's the type of client you're wanting to attract, then you need to be going to networking events and wearing a blazer and sounding very professional. Otherwise, when you're online, people want real. Don't flatten your message by trying to appeal to everyone. Real connection starts with an authentic and real voice where you're showing up as who you are. Next thing, be the coach who says what others are afraid to say. The coaching space is so full of copycat content. And it's really interesting to see what happens when you challenge conventional assumptions. So for instance, one of my most popular posts on my personal coaching website, yourcourageouslife.com, is about how energy vampires are bullshit. I will stand on this hill. I don't think that energy vampires are real. I think when people get suckered into people pleasing, get suckered into the charisma, when people get pulled into that, it feels really hard to go, I got suckered. I got manipulated. It feels really hard to just say, I played into this dynamic with this person who has a pattern of behavior that's about them. So then they go, oh, well, they are an energy vampire, which kind of makes it like, it's not me, it's them. Yeah, their behavior might be taker. I'm always taking kind of vampiric energy, but they can't take if you aren't holding out your arm, giving them a vein. I don't believe in energy vampires. I take responsibility for who I give my time, my attention, my labor, etc. to. Now, there are people who get really mad at me for saying that. They think that I'm judging them. They think da-da-da. And to me, I'm just going, no, it's really human. Like, you got suckered and it's okay. I've been suckered before, right? Like, it's happened before, but like, it's not that they're an energy vampire. It's that they have a certain personality. I willingly gave my time, attention, labor, etc. to that personality. And then I decided to stop. I don't know. That's where I land on it. So essentially, say the thing that your clients are really thinking, but haven't had the words for. Name what's hard. Name what's hidden. Name what's true. Name the exhaustion. And if you want any support with this, I have an entire marketing program that is about cutting the bullshit and really showing up as who you are to get the results in your coaching business. It's called the Coaching Blueprint Digital Marketing Program for Coaches. Head to coachingblueprintprogram.com and you will learn more about it. Next thing I would say for moving through this market that feels so crowded, show up to serve, not just to sell. I would say Instagram, I see this most often where you look at someone's profile and it's so pretty and color coordinated and all of that. And there's something about that while it's very aesthetic, leaves me with the impression that if I start looking through their images and videos, I'm just going to be sold to. I don't know why. I don't think I'm alone in that though. So of course you need to make money and of course you're going to have offers. But connection is built when your presence online is not only about, hey, I have something to promote. Be generous, be consistent, share your lens on the world, show a little day in the life. Here's what it's like to be me. Sometimes I've shared, photos of my office or videos of my office online, and I'm just kind of like showing the piles. I'm a piler. Guilty as charged. I pile things up and then I do like a batch where I just get all the piles taken care of. And it looks very messy in the interim, which is really a shame because I have a gorgeous office. It's like so beautifully styled. Nonetheless, that has nothing to do with selling anything to anybody. I'm just kind of connecting. I'm just kind of saying, oh, here's what comes up for me. Politically, very obvious where I stand on things politically if you are on any of my social profiles. And I share those things because I am trying to get the word out about causes that matter to me. So show up to serve, not just to sell. Next thing, this idea of the crowded coaching market, sometimes it gets a little focused on the numbers. And instead of getting focused on the numbers or how much you're scaling your business, get obsessed with depth. 100 followers who deeply trust you, who repost what you share, who always comment something on what you're offering, are worth so much more than 10,000 who don't even notice. And please tell me that you have never like purchased followers, because by the way, if you have, that's what's killing your reach, because the social media platforms, I don't know how they know, but they know when things are purchased, that will kill your reach. They will know that you have a bunch of bots following you. So focus on relationship building with the people who are showing up, not just how do I get more followers? How do I get more followers? So comment back, send a voice note, say, hey, I saw your post and it resonated. And speaking of building relationships, there's something that has really shifted in the online space, on social in particular, in the last few years, that is, people don't comment as much as they used to. I'm not totally sure why. I wonder if it's because during the incredibly divisive year of 2020, when like just everybody was angry about everything, rightfully so, there was a lot of rage in 2020. I think that maybe people backed off of commenting. But here's something that I noticed personally. I comment on people's posts regularly. I actually say things like, oh, this is a really good point, or I loved that book, or I'm really excited for when their next book comes out, or thank you so much for sharing this. The second slide really resonated. I do that, and I actually think it helps my reach. I don't know for sure, but there's something where people lurk now instead of actually commenting and engaging, and I actually think that it really hurts you as a creator or somebody putting things out on social when you only lurk and you don't engage. So try it as an experiment for 30 days. And I mean, commit to it for 30 days. Don't do it for 3 days and then go, this didn't work. Commit to it for 30 days and really see if it makes a difference, because I've seen it make a huge difference in my organic reach. When I say huge, I'm talking like 10x my organic reach just from making that one change. And last, I think this goes back to really showing up with a real message, showing up to serve, not just to sell. Let people see you build. Let people see the process behind your coaching. What are you working on? What are you learning? As you are planning out your year, what are you setting as your goals for the quarter to come? What are some things that you want to learn about this coming year? What are some things how are you making space to give yourself a vacation? What's it like for you to build that podcast one episode at a time? Real connection comes when people feel like they know you, not just what you do. Think about that for a second. Real connection comes when people feel like they know you, not just what you do. Your coworkers at your salary job might know what you do, but do they know the real you? Probably not. Connection is not built through perfect branding. It's built through being brave enough to show up fully. It's built when your message really touches someone straight. It's just like a hit to the chest and they go, finally, someone who gets it. This is the truth. It's built when you stop chasing approval and start trusting your truth. The crowded market just does not matter as much as you think it does. What matters is whether you're doing the work that really is values aligned for you and whether you're being real. Like I said, if you want some support around marketing, head to coachingblueprintprogram.com. I have a bunch of ideas for how you can get your marketing down to just a few hours a week. I've got a bunch of ideas for how you can market yourself without necessarily being on social media. And the program is updated every single year because these things change, the algorithms change, the platforms change. So remember this though, what matters is how you're showing up and whether you're being real, because real always resonates. Real will always push its way through a perceived or real crowded market, because that's what people are looking for. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Before you go, would you help us out and take a moment to give us a rating in iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening? It really helps us get the word out to other listeners. And before you go today, would you like free resources to support your coaching journey? Whether you're considering becoming a coach or you want advanced coach skills training, access our coaching resource library at teamclcc.com. Again, that's teamclcc.com. Can't wait to connect with you. And again, thanks for listening.